What's the worst beating you've ever gotten? Racist and misogynist a-hole harassed multiple girls over text, so I made a slideshow of all of it to show to the whole school, and then his grandma beat him in front of everyone with a cane. This story happened when I was in high school. I went to a smallish high school, around 950 students ranging from the 9th to 12th grade. With so many students in one place, I had quite a few good friends that I talked to, but only a handful that I hung out with and talked with on a daily basis. Now there was a certain person in our social group, let's call him Bailey. Bailey was a social outcast by many people's standards, not by bullying or hazing or mistreatment from the other students. It's just that no one really liked him because he was an a-hole all the time. He was always playing the victim when he was rejected by girls. He threatened to ruin the lives of said girls who did reject him. He harassed girls online and touched them in uncomfortable places in person after being told to stop. He begged for money off of people. He was a misogynist and racist person to all races and ethnicities. He put himself into other people's conversations and generally wasn't a very nice person to hang around. I have a really good friend, let's call her Anne. Anne has been my best friend ever since I can remember, and she's a wonderful, sweet and generous person to everyone. One day before we got out for winter break, Anne came up to me in the hallway before the end of school, bawling her eyes out. I asked her to tell me what was wrong, and she said that Bailey had asked her out before she went to her class over text, but when she declined after explaining that she already had a boyfriend, all hell broke loose. He called her N-word SLT, he said she should unalive herself because of how fat she was, he said no one loved her because she was a mixture of the two worst races, and said that no one would want her because she's a C-word, and said she has a stinky hoo-hoo area. And had some insecurities about herself, and Bailey hit every single one of them point blank. I was effing seething with rage while reading her texts, and I was completely appalled and disgusted at his behavior. I told her to dry her eyes and send me screenshots of the conversation he had with her. When she asked what I was going to do with them, I simply told her that I had enough of him harassing girls and I was going to do something about it. Now I was not going to confront him directly, not with how angry I was at the moment. Instead, I decided to rally the troops and get ready for the bloodbath. I was going to massacre what was left of his entire high school career, his entire life. Now Bailey had done this to girls before, and luckily I had those girls' numbers saved in my phone because they're my friends and we would send each other memes. So I made a group chat and asked everyone to send any type of rude, racist, misogynist or failed attempt to be asked out screenshot over any type of social media that Bailey had sent to them. Over the next 15 minutes my phone was blaring with text notifications. There were screenshots of Snapchat stories, Facebook comments, text messages. All in all I had around 60 photos of sexist, racist, failed PP pics, or a-hole comments or rants that he made to 15 females, including myself. Over winter break, I composed all of those screenshots into a nice little PowerPoint and saved it in my flash drive on my laptop. I spoke with our principal and I asked him if I could show him something relevant to the safety of the student body during his free break at lunch. He told me that he had no problem with it and a time was set. When it finally comes down for my meeting with the principal, I have a small parade of girls behind me who wanted to come testify, anxiously holding onto each other's hands. We were invited into the principal's private conference room as he sets up his laptop and plugs my flash drive in too. Connect it to the projector. The principal called in some teachers to be witnesses and called Bailey down to the conference room to take a seat and to try to defend himself if the allegations weren't true. The principal clicks the remote to play my presentation and it slowly begins to load up. The first slide comes up and the room goes deathly silent besides a few gasps of shock. As the slides continue on, I notice Bailey is squirming around in his seat, uncomfortable, and the people in the room are getting more agitated and angry. Halfway through the slides Bailey jumps to his feet and throws his arms in front of the projector screen to censor out a particular image that he had sent to a girl, even though she had blurted out a PP pic. He tried to explain that he was joking with the comments about race and being a guy or girl and that these girls were framing him for something he didn't do. He pointed to me and said that I was the ringleader of this operation and that I should be the one who was being thrown on the spot, not him. The entire room was tense, and the principal turned on the lights with his hands on his hips and a giant sigh. The principal turns to me and tells me thank you for bringing this to his attention, and he asks if he could take the flash drive and use it for the investigations and alleged rumors that were going on about Bailey. I gave it to him and he thanked me again, before he left with Bailey and the teachers in tow. Since I copied the original slideshow to my cat flash drive, I sent the PowerPoint to not only mutual friends at the school, but also to his mom and dad through Facebook. All of them were not only absolutely disgusted by his comments, but his family was extremely distraught, but thankful I brought this up to their attention. A few days later the entire school was summoned to the gym for an announcement. Bailey was there with his parents on either side of him and his frail grandmother on the small stage we have set up for concerts and band productions. The slideshow is playing on repeat on a projector in the background for everyone to see. The principal said a few words about how harassment, in any shape, form or fashion, would not be tolerated, and neither would harassment or any form of racist behavior or comments. The principal made Bailey apologize publicly to the school about his behavior and how he would never do it again. His parents were embarrassed, but they also apologized to the school and to the young ladies that he had harassed. His grandmother did not let him off so easily. She slapped his knee with her cane hard and started yelling at him for being so disgusting and such a disappointment to her and to the rest of the family. Bailey started to cry on the stage as his mother and father tried to calm down his grandmother. Once everything calmed down, they were escorted off the property. He was suspended for the rest of the year for verbal harassment and racist comments. Later on in the same year I found out that he had tried to rob a grocery store and was now facing trial for battery, assault with a deadly weapon, and armed robbery. My friends and I all graduated happily, and I never saw Bailey again.